6:07, I am opening the Select Board meeting, June 30th. We have three members of the public on Zoom, and we have 2 members of the public without appointments in the building here. So I will open up public comments to the folks. I'll start with David Avery, who's on Zoom. David, did you have any comments?
No comment this morning.
Okay, thank you. And Jan Williams?
Yes, I have a question. I happen to be reading the select board minutes from 5/19 meeting.
Yes.
And I'm just confused about something. It started with a conversation with Hebe Quinton about residents having their abatements discussed that are not notified before the meeting.
Correct.
And the response from Dina was that this is the first step in the process, and the property owner will receive a letter stating whether the abatement has been granted or denied, and then the owners have the opportunity to meet with the board if they have any concerns. But the letter that people are getting when their abatements are denied does not list the option of meeting with the select board. It says taxpayers may file an appeal either at the Board of Tax and Land Appeals or in Superior Court. So my question really regards this discrepancy. Is meeting with the board an option? Or is there a mistake in both what was stated at that meeting and your process is not that?
Okay, my understanding is that there is an option to meet with the board, but to actually appeal what happened goes either to the court or the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. But Dina is on the Zoom, and Dina maybe can clarify.
Bobbing her head.
She's bobbing her head. Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
yes, Judy, you're right. And if the letter state that they could meet with the board, I know that we've, numerously times said that. I haven't read the letter myself,
So we should
but I'm.
make sure that we update the letter
yeah.
to have that, Judy.
Yeah, I'll look and see, but again, Judy, you're right, any further action that is being taken by the property owner is really done now in the court or the BTLA.
Okay.
So to follow up with my question then, there's a difference between discussing it, to meeting with the board and a formal appeal. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. And it seems to me that it would be important to let the people that you've denied know that they have the option to meet with the board.
Yeah, I believe most people know that, but that is a good point, and we need to.
Oh, I didn't know it.
Okay. Thank you. What else? Okay. Rich Brown.
I don't have anything for this meeting right now.
Okay, thank you. David, Jan, Rich. And we have Mr. Bill Cannon, who's from Charlestown, who asked to be able to speak to us briefly this morning, and it looks like you would be limited to about 5 minutes.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll go quickly.
Okay.
My name is William Jordan Cannon. I live in Alstead. I work in Charlestown. I'll kind of go quick here. January 20th, I attended the hearing in Concord for CACR 32, which would, if passed, would allow the citizens of New Hampshire to vote on secession. I'm not here advocating for secession. However, I am here to express my concerns with some of the observations that I've seen since that time. So since that time, a PAC, Political Action Committee, has been formed to promote independence in the state of New Hampshire. And a donor, supposedly anonymous, has donated $50,000 for the conducting of a survey, not only in New Hampshire, but also other states that are having secession movements. I attended PorcFest last week, and I observed in the presentations people from the Texas exit, the California exit, and the New Hampshire exit, including Mike Sylvia, who was one of the state reps that wrote the bill. What was concerning for me was the lack of idea of what would happen if secession were to move forward. Well, I shouldn't say a lack of idea. The idea seemed to be to focus around the, making New Hampshire kind of like a Monaco. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with Monaco, but their idea of civil liberties is a little bit different than the ones that we're used to. So this prompted me from a comment that was made by one of the state representatives on January 20th to the audience that was in very, seemed to be in favor of secession, or at least in favor of CACR 32 passing. The comment that there was no idea or plan. From my observation, there tends to be a monoculture of, in the secession movement, of them versus us, and I think what led me, I guess the camel or the straw that broke the camel's back, I was speaking to one of the leaders of the New Hampshire secession movement in one of his panels, and I asked him, what were the plans for the people in New Hampshire who did not want to go along with secession? And his response was, we would let them leave. So given the arguably pre-war state we have with Russia right now and a lot of the other things happening at the federal and international level, I felt it was just a responsibility to speak to select boards regarding my concerns, and I forwarded an attachment that is basically my argument for a peaceful coexistence option if something were to move forward. I've lived in Kazakhstan, I've lived in Japan, so I've had conversations with people that have seen the turning of a order very, very quickly without public input. I'm not saying that's what's happening now, but I'm not saying that it's not happening now. So that's basically why I'm here. If you have any questions, feel free to answer them, but that's essentially
Okay,
the gist.
I appreciate that very much, a heads up for all of us to be vigilant. And what we'll do is we will attach your letter to the minutes, so anyone that is interested will have access to it, and we have, I think, an email address. Is it okay if we
Yeah, the email's
include
fine,
that?
yeah, that's perfectly okay.
Okay, so I'll make a note to attach to minutes and include your email.
Thank you.
Who are these people that are bringing up the bill?
So, I don't wanna speak anything disparagingly about the secession people, because some of the things I do agree with. However, Mike Sylvia is a state representative. The people that seem to be steering the movement are primarily from out of state, some of which involved in the Free State Project. And it seems that they're putting the cart before the horse. We need to secede, we need more liberty, without a plan of, there's no discussion of a Bill of Rights or keeping the Constitution or anything like that. So I've lived in places that did not have the civil liberties that we enjoy. And I think a lot of people who are attached to the movement have not. So possibly they're thinking that everything will be just like it is now, but would not be the case.
Except with no taxes, no roads,
Well,
no police.
liberty versus civil liberty, I think they're much more the liberty, like people should do what they want, and civil liberty is more let's all do within reason, so we're maintaining respect and harmony, so. Yeah.
Anything else, David? Ben? Good?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, we
Thank you for
appreciate the
coming.
time. I'm sure there will be one or two folks get in touch with you. Okay, we're only 1 minute late for you guys. We have Aaron, Reg, and Ernst Kling here from Emergency Services, the fire department, and forestry, yep.
Yep.
So, give us your spiel.
So the short version.
Yes, we like short
Yep.
versions.
So Lyme Fire has tremendous capability to handle on-road incidents, house fires, all those components. Where we've struggled historically is more of the off-road incidents without mutual aid coming into play. Don actually wrote something to that in his departure letter about how we've traditionally not had a piece of apparatus or equipment to easily be transported into the woods. The state has grant programs set up. Ernst has been doing a lot of research, which I'll let him speak to here. Our goal is to increase the capability of the Lyme Fire Department to deal with off-road incidents, which include mountain biking, which I love it, but there's a lot more trails going in every day. Our skiers, our snowmobilers, our ATVers, and also our wildfires. So being able to get people and equipment to those locations quickly is invaluable in trying to preserve life as well as preserve property. So we're looking at a pivot over the next few years on how we begin to accommodate some of those things, and some of them were the step back from Lyme rescue when we went to using the PD cruisers to look at saving budgetary money for the town. And, you know, we're gonna continue with that with the next truck that comes from Sean. But we're looking at creating supplemental pieces that also reduce the need of the town of Lyme to use personal equipment, which we've been doing, which works right up until my industry gets involved with the insurance side of it.
Right, I was
And
just gonna say, I
Primex
bet our
does a great
insurance
job.
folks like that a lot.
Primex does a great job of covering us when we commandeer personal vehicles, but that's not to say that they won't be named in lawsuits. So as we go forward, we're just looking at trying to get things more into a municipal bucket. So the grant, we've looked at a couple of different proposals out there, and I'll let you kind of talk through that component.
So through the wardens, through the state, there's two separate grants. We've forwarded you guys the first one. I just got the information on the second one. Essentially how they work is there's federal surplus equipment available. The state has a guy that works 1 day a week to find said pieces for towns. They're free, other than you have to go get them, which is a expense with fuel, but if, you know, you can basically tell them to find you something within 100 miles, they're not gonna find you anything. You can say within 500 miles and, you know, it may be $2,000 to get said piece of equipment here. One grant, basically the state retains the ownership, but it's up at the town's discretion of how to use the piece. And when the town decides they're done with it, you turn it back into the state. When you do that, you're responsible for fuel, insurance, maintenance, but they can get you some parts if they can find them.
Okay.
But they can also, if they have a major incident, say, the town of, or the piece you have, we need it in Concord now. So there is a little, the chances of that happening are relatively low, but it is something that can occur. The other way of doing it is essentially the town takes over ownership of said piece, but then you are completely responsible for all of it. And so what I would like to do is apply for both programs, see what they find. We can always say no. We don't, you know, if the guy will send an email of pictures, general description, the things in Georgia. You know, I'm not flying down to Georgia to go yay or nay. You know, you gotta take some of it. It's a used piece of equipment that you're taking some chance, but generally they know what they're looking for, and take it. What I would like to do, is get a UTV, meaning it's side by side, two or three people with a bed on it, a Gator Ranger type thing that can move people and equipment into the woods, on muddy roads, things like that, with the idea of the town will get some other equipment to assist with it. Currently, I use my personal one, which is fine until I'm not in town. Or insurance comes into play. And in general, the budget for forestry is $600, which that will buy me 3 backpacks this year. So the budget is gonna need to go up. And there is an additional grant, that I got an email this morning, that the state will match purchasing power up to $2,500 for equipment. So in big picture, I would like to, I know this isn't a budget meeting, but increase the budget to up into that so we can replace stuff. We have some great equipment, but some of it's starting to get pretty old, the backpacks are falling apart. I handed out shirts the other day with no hard hats, because we don't have any hard hats. So some of the stuff is just, it's time to replace stuff, and it makes it a lot easier to recruit people when you can go, here's some new stuff, not, hey, you should go buy your own hard hat. And I'm trying to work with the wardens to get some younger members, trying to use it as a stepping stone towards the fire department. And especially when we go on some of the major search and rescues, which we do, that having a few people that are really good in the woods is a big asset, because, you know, when we go to the side of Smarts and put a helicopter in there, it's a pretty intense thing. So, just in terms of having some more equipment, I think it's a good thing to be able to get some more people involved. The grant program itself, I think we should apply for it. We can always say no and just see what they come up with to provide us with a piece of equipment that we can start to utilize without having to go through a warrant article and basically get us something sooner than a year out, because fire season's coming around in the fall and then again next spring, to have a piece of equipment in place rather than sooner than later.
And the piece of equipment you're looking at is specifically not a highway vehicle, not a
No,
Humvee
it
or
would
something.
be
It's a-
specifically requesting you have to specifically say what you want. You don't say, I want a 2005
Yeah.
John Deere Gator, but you say, we'd like a UTV. They, basically, the guy goes in, he punches in UTV into a search from the government website we tell them our range that we're willing to either pay to have transported or to go pick up ourselves. And it pops up with 6 of them. All right, that thing's totaled, he won't send us that one. He'll send us a list of what is available with pictures. We go, okay, this one looks interesting. He puts in, basically, it's like an auction, but you don't actually spend money. He puts in a request for it. If they grant it, then from the time they grant it, we have 14 days to pick up said piece. My general thought is if it's in the Northeast, I will go get it.
So
Whether,
you just throw a trailer on your truck and.
or I go drive with a truck and grab a U-Haul trailer and bring it back or something like that. That is my general thought. If it's within a couple, 300 miles in the Northeast, I go on a Friday and
Yeah.
go pick it up. If it's in Georgia, we'll figure something, you know, it's some discretion. You know, you hop on a
Yeah,
plane
you can
and,
pay to have these things transported.
right, you can
It's not
pay to
that
have them
expensive.
transported, but with the fuel costs, it's a legitimate thing, and if we're paying to have it transported, then the money has to be there at some way to pay that bill when it arrives. If I go pick it up myself, then it's part of the volunteer thing, but.
Well, you get your reimbursed, of course,
Yeah.
but, so what are we talking, are you looking, so you're talking about in the regular budget, when budget season starts in September for next March, $2,500 for your line item?
Yeah, 2,500 to 3,000, somewhere in that
Somewhere in there.
ballpark too.
So right now, if you start a search, where are you gonna come up with funds?
So right now, like I said, if they find us something in the Northeast, I'm gonna go get it myself. If
And it's free, then
it's
it's just
free,
the cost of gas?
it's the cost to get here.
Okay.
Which essentially, we're gonna get a $6,000 machine to $6,000 to $10,000 machine for the cost of going and getting it.
And you have $600 in your line?
Budget, which I'm gonna spend on backpacks, because our
Oh, you are
backpacks.
gonna buy backpacks?
I'm gonna buy backpacks.
Can I say something?
Sure, Dina.
I'm just addressing the go get it thing. There's no reason why Ernst needs to use his personal vehicle for that or a trailer. The town has our truck. Matt could either go get it, or Ernst and Matt, or Ernst or whatever
Yep.
can go get it with the truck, and the highway department has a trailer. I'm sure Scott would be more than
That'd be great.
happy to have them use that. I had a couple questions that I wanted to address during this, just from my insurance point of view. Aaron, you can appreciate this. In there, that you have to make sure we have qualified drivers number one. I don't know what kind of vehicle you're gonna end up with, but, charging people, are you guys planning on charging people to do it or use the vehicle? And then only using it for fire suppression. So do we have some sort of a fire policy to address those concerns?
Well, wait, Dina, I'm confused, why just using it for fire suppression, why wouldn't you use it for a rescue, rescue a hiker?
Well, oh, but that's the same thing, that would be the same thing, it would be them using it.
So the,
Emergency use.
the program is set up, it's supposed to be for fire suppression. Essentially, the feds are protecting their own stuff. But while you have, the main purpose is fire suppression, but it's allowed for any emergency use. So
I'm just
basically.
reading from the list.
Yeah. The program is designed for fire, wildland fire stuff, there's lots of federal. But once you have it, there's nothing to say, geez, we need it for this.
Okay.
So that's where that part comes in. Training, like everything else we have, training needs to occur. So essentially, once we get said apparatus, we'll, just like we do with our engines, we have 3 or 4 people that do a main training and then expand out through the membership as we can.
Oh, perfect.
And
So we
Dina,
can do that through the fire part too.
yeah, Dina, I think Primex actually has a ATV, UTV driver operator online course. I was trying to get in the other
They
day.
do, yeah.
So that we can use for the classroom component of it, and then the
Okay.
practical stuff we could do through live time, so.
Perfect,
Primex has,
perfect.
our insurance has a lot of these programs, so, yeah.
And they love us to take advantage of them, and I think that maybe Ernst, you might wanna think about adding to your budget a little bit of money for training. I know most of Primex stuff is free, but, you know, we really want our fire guys to be trained, and any additional training they need that may cost money, you may wanna put a little extra in your
Yeah.
budget for that.
And historically, we've worked between the fire department and the forestry department to make that
Right.
occur. But I do think as we look at, more potential young membership, I think it makes sense to look at making that budget a little stronger so that we can maintain both. Like Ernst said, it's a great entry
Yes.
point, that's how I ended up here.
Yeah.
I started in the forestry department many moons ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the town, it doesn't occur, but the town is responsible to pay firefighters on wildland stuff, and they're responsible to pay the warden for issuing permits. We don't do that, but if we end up in a multi-day fire, that may occur that the town is responsible for half that bill. So that at some point, that needs to at least be in the back of our mind, that if we end up on a major fire with 20 firefighters working, it's not, you don't get paid a whole lot, but $12 an hour, it doesn't take much to chew through $600.
Right.
So it's just one of those things in the budget that, I'm not saying that it's gonna come out every year or anything else, but somewhere in that.
We experience surprises in the budget on a regular basis,
Right.
like mud season,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And we're able to handle.
Right. But it's definitely, one of those things that with the.
On the subject of UTVs, and, I know we had a guy with a heart attack a number of years ago on Bear Hill lands. And we supplied the UTV with them to go in and
Yep.
strap them on it and bring it out. And I'm sure that we'd be willing to do that if you guys needed them in a hurry.
Yep.
Just don't forget to call us.
Yeah.
And
No,
the hard part is, like, sorry,
No, it's, there's a bunch of landowners that do that. The hard part is when we are in go mode.
No, I agree, you should have your own, but
Yeah.
there may be times that you
Additional.
need, or
Yeah.
there's one that's
Yeah.
available, and
Yeah.
ours are available.
Yeah, and we're trying to work, Aaron and I are trying to work together, making lists of some of these resources and
Yeah, that's good.
having, and having that at dispatch where we aren't going, geez, we should call Ben and we should call Dave and go and get there, where we can just go to dispatch saying, we need UTVs.
Yeah.
And they can sit at their desk and go, all right, here's a list of Lyme's available stuff. So we're trying, and, from my professional point, if I work on a trail network for someone, I'm trying to get those digitized and get those at, dispatch, so if we have an incident, medical incident on the Rainbow Trail, we know where the Rainbow Trail is.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's, we have keys to our gates. And,
Yep,
you know, we had to get the keys there,
yep,
and, you know, I offered them all the fire departments at the time, but, you
Yep.
know, they all had a big bundle of keys like this, and
Yep.
some of them didn't want an extra one.
yep,
We've shrunk it down to one basically now, so we just have the Knox box key to open, so if we can get keys like that, even if it's mounted to a tree or something, we could have them by the gates, and just punch the
So
key.
what we've done is had other people need access to
Yep.
put their own lock on
Yep.
it, and double lock it.
yep.
Yeah.
So the
But
basic,
the other thing, I was just gonna say, the other thing we have available is in the emergency management plan, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. There's a nice list of available equipments and, you know, generate vehicles and this and that people have around town. That might help if you haven't remembered to look at
Yeah,
that.
no, that list is very accurate at the time we did that, and I think that's always the challenge with that.
Right.
There's been,
Keeping it up, yeah.
several of those that have moved out of town or, have sold resources, so, to Dina's point, like, yeah, that's absolutely a list that we've been
Yeah.
looking at and continue to try to maintain.
Okay, yeah, maintaining things, lists like that is always tough.
Tough.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think the biggest point that we have is trying to shift this from the primary piece being a private piece to the primary piece being a municipal piece, and then having the additional components come in, because we don't know the service records, when we borrow things from, I mean, other than Ernst or some of the ones that I have, we don't know, and that was one of the concerns that Primex came back to Dina and I on prior conversations, is
Right,
what's the maintenance
and
record
it
of vehicles
breaks
you're
and
bothering?
town's
Right.
responsible.
Yeah.
With these vehicles that you get through this program, if the town ends up owning them, then you presumably need something in maintenance, but in the budget for maintenance and
yeah.
repair and.
yep,
We're gonna have
definitely.
to add that in.
And then, yeah, so that's another budgetary,
So
nothing's free.
Yeah, so initially, I mean, we'll start budgeting probably mid to late August. Budget committee starts up in September.
Yep.
Yep.
25 to 3,000, but for right now, the goal is to file these two
Request forms.
request forms,
See what they come up with,
and then figure out how to
figure out, you know, if,
Get some
if
money
Matt and I, or
drive it better.
Hensley and I take the town truck and the trailer and drive to Buffalo and
Yeah,
come back or whatever, you know, to basically then have a piece of equipment that we can start adding some tools to
sure,
and have online for going into the fall, and then have ready for spring fire season, which is becoming earlier and earlier, and, you know, we
Yeah.
had fires in March this year.
yeah. So what we need, so you're asking for permission to fill out these two
Yep,
applications, and we meet again in 2 weeks, so if you get it filled out and done, assuming that we agree that you can apply for these grants, we can sign at the next meeting.
yep, so essentially, if it is going to be housed at the fire station, the fire chief, the warden, and the select board need to sign it. If it's not going to be then the fire chief doesn't need to sign it, but it is, so.
I move that we go ahead and give them permission to fill out their forms and look for the equipment.
I'll second that.
Take it.
Okay,
All
and I just have one more thing before we take a vote, thank you, Ben. If it's gonna be at the fire station, is it gonna be inside or outside?
We are still working on the configuration of that.
So when the station was designed, we set that north bay up to allow for future expansion, whether we had a forestry truck with a rescue there, that was set up to accommodate this. Right now, the forestry trailer sits just inside that door, so it makes logical sense that this UTV, ATV could sit right there, until we figure out next plan.
So they both go right inside, or it's
It-
gonna
the-
sit right in front of them?
Likely the stuff from the trailer would go onto this as a fixed
Oh, okay,
setup, so,
okay.
yeah, so
Alright.
that's the
We're
short-term plan.
not building an addition for this.
We're not building an addition, no,
Okay.
so, no. But that's the short-term plan, and whether we look at, we do have a green building that sits out back that we
Yep.
use for overflow seasonally, whether things go into that.
Something could go in there,
Yeah,
okay.
so we've looked at that kind of as the next steps, and also the trailer component, so.
Right, at some point, we need, something to move said piece, which we're also working on how
I get it.
how
So
that,
in the immediate, you get this and something happens and you don't have that, you're gonna go to Scotty or.
Yeah, or a personal,
Or some trailer, but.
some trailer, we're still
I think
working
we've
on
got
that.
one, Scotty's pretty.
You don't fit in
amenable.
pickup trucks, right? You gotta have a trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
They're a little too
ATVs, you can
yeah,
do ramps and get in the pickup trucks, but UTVs they're beyond the 4-foot threshold of the beds, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to
Yeah,
give you
yours.
permission to file for those two grants. All those in favor say aye.
And I,
David, I,
And Judy, aye. And you are off and running, get that paperwork in.
Yep.
and-
can you see if you can find me one too?
yeah. They got some really cool stuff.
Yeah, they got some cool stuff that we couldn't fit in the station. Like, when it first started, we're like, let's look at trucks, and we're like, 6-wheel monstrosity that has 40 inches of ground clearance, that'd be really cool, but we use it 3 times and no. So, yeah, there's,
Good work. We really appreciate you taking the time to come in, and it sounds like it's a good addition.
well, there's
Hopefully you
no
can find
question
something.
with the increase of people going on trails and into the woods and.
Yeah, and we're seeing it in call volume and, you know, and these calls take a long time, whether it's the fire call or the search and rescue calls, they're just chewing through a pile of time, and when we're looking at mutual aid resources, there's times they're not available because they're on similar calls, and, you know, the fire season is
Yeah,
3 weeks to a month, where Thetford's stretched over here, fair, you know, and Hanover's gone, and it's us, and we're sitting there going, okay,
what can we get?
what can we get? So if we have some of this stuff that just kind of, we're seeing more and more of it, so.
This is kind of the first wave, there's definitely more stuff we've looked at as we look at like SWOT analysis for the fire department, like what do we rely upon? We are very fortunate to have a large number of volunteers, and when you look around us, that's not the case. So we have tremendous manpower, we've got great equipment, but being able to get out to some of these other locations is definitely gonna be a challenge, and as Ben said, it's an increasing challenge.
yeah.
We have a
Well, I
great-
know a few years ago Hanover got one, because they
Yep.
were having the same problem,
Yep, so they have an ATV and a UTV.
right?
And they have a trailer, and they have the boats and
Snowmobile.
snowmobiles, but it really gets into, like, we've been very fortunate. We've had a few snowmobile incidents that we've had to respond to, but that's a tough season.
Yeah.
They're
So-
generally way out.
So when you get a piece of equipment like this, do you need to equip it? Does it need first aid kits and oxygen and
So
A-
med kits will pull from,
AED, or do you just pull the stuff out of the fire truck and throw it in the back
I
when you
wanna
need
pull
it?
that stuff out.
Some of this stuff, so we have forestry equipment, we have some hose, we have a lot of hand tools, we have a portable pump. Those things will go on this for fire season, essentially March through mid-May. If we have a fire today, we probably will not have that stuff on it, but we can put it on it pretty quickly. The big picture idea is that there may be a second item further down the road that's more specific towards medical. Hanover's medical and Thetford's medical, they have stuff set up for that, but we've had times where we've had fatal medical incidents where neither one of those were available. So we're working towards at least having some stuff on there to get the ball rolling. But the general picture is we're gonna use what we already have. Not to say we might not need some lights or some things to outfit this, but, you know, radios, stuff like that will kind of build off of. The basic idea is get the platform, and then we'll start
Equipping
equipping it as we can. You know, I've got some hose fittings from Thetford that they aren't using anymore because they changed hose style. So some of that stuff happens, you know, hey, we aren't gonna use this anymore, do you want it? There's certainly some of that sharing that goes back and forth, between the departments.
Just out of curiosity, if we weren't getting a used government surplus piece of equipment, what does one of these things cost new?
20 grand by the time you're done.
About 20,000.
So there's also like a movement like this really covers us in the search and rescue, the forestry component and a good component of the search and rescue. But we've found in recent years, the UTVs get us the vast majority of the way towards the locations.
Not
But a
all
lot
the
of the
way.
trail systems start to get that 2 feet narrower. So it is my belief that in the next 2 to 3 years, we're gonna be sitting here talking about looking at a 6-wheeler, looking at an enclosed trailer to be able to handle some of those things, as a fire department. And whether it looks at, the current PD cruiser, will be coming to us when Sean, the pickup truck, and that will give some enhanced capabilities, but whether we look at, a used forestry piece or something else to also supplement this, the goal is to put us farther into the woods quicker. And also, mud season is mud season. Having a forestry truck that could potentially get to someone's driveway, like up, the 4-wheel drive engine is great, but, as Scott will say and the rest of them will say, you run equipment that heavy up a road during mud season, like we wanna minimize that impact as much as we can. If we can get to someone's house with a forestry truck or something like that during those seasons, it could be beneficial to road preservation. So we're trying to balance all these and looking at a 3, 5, and 10-year strategic plan right now, so this is first step, so.
I really personally appreciate the handshake work that's going on right now, and I think that that's definitely what we want to encourage.
Yep, yep.
And,
And we have great working relationships. I mean, Thetford and us have gotten much closer over the years, Orford the same, so all of us are working together. Like this morning, if the Thetford chief is out of town, we're sending texts back and forth. So we know, hey, there's resources, there's not resources, this is where we're at. So background communication is dramatically improved, and it's really good.
Good.
We just need to get about 150 more volunteers in the valley. So if anybody has a quick solution to that, you let me know. It goes to housing, it goes to everything, so.
Yeah.
But we've been very fortunate in Lyme, we're carrying a roster of over 30 right now, and there's not, I don't know of another town in the valley that has that.
Yeah,
So we wanna make sure we keep them
We want to
energized.
keep everybody.
we're putting 8 to 10 people on the majority of calls right now, which is pretty impressive compared to the rest of the volunteer.
Excellent.
And that's not to disparage them at all, we all go through these cycles, so.
Yeah, well, we thank you very much.
Yep.
And, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Report back to us.
All
Yep,
right.
and we'll get
Okay.
those forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will connect with you on keys and access, et cetera.
That's a good idea.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Very good, yep.
Yeah.
All right, so, next on our agenda.
Here, we've got 16,000 acres out here. Which means somebody has to have a key.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that. We have minutes to review and approve. We have public and non-public from June 2nd, and we have June 16th. Let's start with the public from June 2nd. I may have a copy if someone wants to look at it.
Those look fine to me, Judy.
They look fine to you, okay? Ben will move them.
I'll
David,
second.
second. All those in favor say aye.
And I,
Then,
Judy, aye. Okay, they are approved. That's this guy. And we had non-public from June 2nd.
also look fine to me. I'll move them.
Okay, David.
second,
Thank you, Ben. All those in favor say aye.
then
David, I.
And Judy, aye. And that's approved. And that leaves June 16th. And
I don't know if Dina circulated them. I had a bunch of little,
she circulated that, I think, either late last night. So you had small edits.
yeah, mostly changing the statutory sites, but
Okay.
a couple other little language things, just little typos.
Okay. So,
I'll move them.
okay,
I'll second it as edited, I presume.
yes, as edited. Ben and David as edited. I was not here, so I will abstain. All those, Ben and David in favor, say aye.
David, I.
Okay, so those are approved. And I know some people were looking for updates on minutes, and those two should go up shortly. Probably will not go up tomorrow, probably next week. Jordan has been away, and it will take a little bit before she gets caught up to put them on the web.
I was just gonna shut the door.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does get distracting.
I'm easily distracted anyways.
Okay, and we have a manifest that came out, and Dina, I had a question, is this the last big Lyme school payment, or is there one more coming?
Geez, we gotta get rid of that school. It's costing us a bundle.
July is, the start to their,
Yep, oh, so this is the
so this
first,
is the first payment, yes.
yeah, okay, all
Don't
right.
have
Nice
one.
try, Judy.
Yeah, so,
I keep trying and it's pretty lame, but okay, thank you, Dina.
Yeah.
So the total of this manifest is $518,090,
right.
with a $500,000 payment to the Lyme School District. What do we wish to do with the manifest?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Thank you, David, thank you, Ben, all those in favor say aye.
Ben,
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. Very good. Now, we've got, and Dina, I don't know that I picked up the stuff, but we have just a notice to the board that we have a list of dog owners who have not licensed their dogs as of June 16th. And, so.
Am I on it again?
I actually don't have that in front of me, I apologize for that.
Oh, it was in there, sorry.
No.
Yeah, just notifying you a list of names
Great.
and saying that Patty's gonna move ahead and these people will be getting a final warning from Chief O'Keefe or Sergeant Camden to get them registered.
Yep, so that's, nothing we have to do, just, and I'm sorry, I apologize, and maybe when Dina gets back in, she can scan it and send it out, if you're curious, David, if you're on it.
Discrimination against dog owners relative to cat owners, I don't know.
Well, there have been, discussion about registering cats in the same way. It hasn't passed yet down at the state, but you never know.
gotta take my dog off the list, but he had to get put down.
Oh.
When, this month?
Yes, yesterday.
Oh,
Oh,
Ben,
I'm sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
so sorry. Gosh, it's happening, I mean, Winston's been sick, it's just so sad.
All his legs gave out. Couldn't give up, couldn't get up and groaned with pain.
Oh,
It's time.
yeah. Arthritis and everything else. Yeah.
Well, almost 16 for a lab that big.
Holy smokes, yeah.
He was an old dog.
Okay, we just lost, Chief O'Keefe, so we're going to do now, I have a couple of items. Next meeting is 2 weeks from today, and then we should have a second meeting on the 28th of July. Dina will be away. I would like to propose, if your guys' schedules are open to this, that we just move that meeting to August 4th.
I will be out of town the last week in July and the first week in August, so you guys can do whatever you like.
Okay, so the last week of July, you're out of town and Dina's away, so that one is not good, so
Well,
Ben.
How many weeks of vacation does Dina get?
Well, I'll have you know that, and I'm using them all this year.
Yes.
For the first time ever.
So what were the dates of?
So the 28th is a no-go, and I'm looking for August 4th.
Yeah, that's okay with me.
That's okay with you. Okay, so Dina, make a note, I think we're gonna try and do August 4th.
Okay.
July, August 4th.
And our next one is the 14th
Of June, 14th of June.
July.
July.
14th of July, yes, thank you.
That's Steel's Day.
You and Harvey know that. Okay, this one I'm gonna edit and I'm gonna make it August. Hold on just a second while I do this. Okay, done. All right. So that's that little bit of business, and, I think that's pretty good. We got something from the Lyme Heritage Commission, and I was not able to do anything with it in Dina's absence, so we'll push that off till the next time. You guys will all get a copy of what they sent us. And I think now we move to, we have some paperwork to sign. We already voted the agreement with Lyme Lawn Care for mowing services for next year, I believe, and so we can sign that as we're doing other things.
Is Sean gonna talk to us about signage?
I think he was hoping to, but since he's left the building, we'll have to, this is the forest fire stuff, this is this. This, okay, and, oh, here's the list, I found the list of dog owners, Dina, so I will pass that around so David can see if he's on it. And then, as I keep trying to say, but I keep correcting myself, after we do these little things, I think we're moving on to looking at another big batch of abatement requests and recommendations. I think there are 15 or more. Thank you. And so,
Some of those we've done, didn't we? I've just read them before.
I don't think so. You did a bunch last time we met, and I think this is the rest of the ones that had not been done.
Yes, this should take care of all of them.
I'd like to note for the record that I am not on the list this year.
Okay, that sounds good. This is for signature. And let me know as soon as you're ready and we can work our way through these. Okay. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. If anyone is old enough to remember, we were moving into a paperless society. Things would be easy, there'd be no paper. Now things are hard and there's
Controlled
more.
by Russian hackers.
Yes, yes indeed, thank you. All right, are we good to go? And I remember from before, we don't talk about who the owners are, just that this is a property location on the East Thetford Road, thank you. And
Does that mean the signature?
that, no, that's the forest fire stuff. And some other stuff. Oh, you're right, this is the accounts payable. That needs a signature.
Put your pen back over here.
Oh. I'm getting so I can't multitask the way I used to.
Well, you used to, when Dina was in, it was easier.
So there you go, Dina.
Oh, I feel wanted, thank you,
Yes,
Ben.
you're welcome, okay. On the East Thetford Road, taxpayer did not give a value opinion, asked for an abatement due to incorrect data, no crawl space in the building, instead it's on a cement slab. The recommendation is to grant an abatement. The listing data on the sketch has been corrected. The value has thus been reduced. It's an assessment change of $18,600. What do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
No second.
Okay, thank you, David and Ben. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye. I'm not gonna pass around the things for signatures till the end of the meeting because that will just take us forever. All right, the next one is a property located on Dorchester Road. The assessed value, the taxpayer's value is $130,000. The assessed value is on two Dorchester Road properties, 208, 500,000 and 450, 100,000. The property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in assessment, citing an appraisal that was done in 2015. The assessor has recommended we deny the abatement, stating that the taxpayer has did provide a complete inspection. During the inspection, it was noted that there is a cathedral area not previously assessed, which causes the assessment to increase slightly. Building style was changed, value was unaffected. The appraisal, due to it being 6 years old, has no relevance to 2021. And the assessment change being recommended is 0, so they're recommending deny this request. What do we wish to do?
I'll move it.
Ben,
I'll second.
David, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye. All right, we have a property on Culver Hill Lane. The taxpayer had no opinion of value. The owners are requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. They cite the percent of increase, dispute some other adjustments. The assessor has done, excuse me? The assessor has provided a complete inspection. He's done a complete inspection. It was agreed that the style of the property be changed. Changes were made to the sketch, which identified finished and unfinished areas, and it was confirmed that there is an apartment above the garage. The difference in the assessment resulting from the changes should be abated. The assessment change is reducing the assessment by $68,700. What do we wish to do with this one? This is a grant of an assessment change.
I'll move it.
Ben,
I'll second.
David, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye.
Sorry, Judy, can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
Can you tell me what that, was?
It was $68,700.
Okay.
$700.
Okay, and you have a property owner online, a new one, that is raising their hand. Are you taking comments during this time?
I am not.
Okay, so he'll wait until the end, maybe, or whenever?
Either that or the property owner can get in touch with you and
Okay.
we can talk about what's happening.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. All right, the next property is on Franklin Hill Road. The assessed value is $566,500. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $524,200. Property owners want to request an abatement of the increase in the assessment. They have not submitted any information to support their value assertion. The assessor says he met with the taxpayer, explained the reasoning for the assessment change. After brief discussion, the taxpayer indicated he was satisfied with the assessor's answers, and the assessment reduction request for an abatement is denied, no changes to the assessment. I guess we support that since
Yeah, I'll move
the
it.
taxpayer.
I'll second it.
Good. Ben, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
Aye.
All right, next up is a property located on Pleasant Street. The taxpayer had no opinion of value. The property owner was requesting the abatement because they believe the assessment doesn't recognize the physical condition of the building. The assessor had a complete inspection of the property. The property has much deferred maintenance and is likely a redevelopment project if someone were to buy it. The condition has been changed to poor, and an additional adjustment was given for the physical condition. The assessor is recommending a grant of an abatement in the assessment change in the amount of $184,400.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
David and Ben, all those in favor say aye,
Then I.
David, aye.
and Judy, aye. All right, this property is on Dorchester Road. The taxpayer did not give an opinion of value. They requested an abatement because they believe the assessment increased, includes a parcel across the road which is likely unbuildable due to wetland setbacks. No additional supporting information has been supplied. A complete inspection of the property was done. A couple of minor changes were made to the sketch. Separating the two lots out resulted in an assessment change that is nominal, will be reflected in 2022's assessment. The combined value of the two lots is $264,000, which is a $4,200 drop to be realized in 2022. Additionally, the assessor changed the condition for the age of the property from average to fair and applied a 2% adjustment for functional obsolescence. The assessment change was a reduction of $20,500. So this was a grant. What do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Then I.
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. The next property is located on River Road. The assessed value is $303,100. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $203,580. The property owners have not submitted an appraisal to support their value assertion. A complete inspection of the property was done. The assessment for the view was adjusted. The assessor believes it was overstated in 2021 based on parameters established during the revaluation. The corrections were made and the assessment was recommended to be changed by a reduction of $59,000. What do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
David, thank you, Ben. All those in favor say aye.
Then I.
Judy, aye. Sorry, sleep at the helm. The next property is on Pinnacle Road. The taxpayer's opinion of value is not cited. The property owners requested an abatement of the increase in the assessment, but did not submit any relevant information to indicate that the assessment is not a market value. The recommendation is to deny. Changes were noted. There are 2 full bathrooms and 1 half bathroom, and heating fuel is now with pellets. Corrections were made, which caused the assessment to increase slightly for the 2022 taxes. No change to the 2021 revised assessment. Recommendation deny. What do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Ben, thank you, David. All those in favor?
Then I.
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. Oh, you're not quite halfway through. All right, this next property is located on Maple Lane. The assessed value is $260,600. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $177,000. The property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in assessment. Property owner indicates that the building should be adjusted due to tenant damage. No further information was provided to support her value adjustment. A complete inspection of the property was done. The property, as of April 1, was adjusted to reflect the condition of the property. The adjustment that was made is believed to be appropriate. Recommendation to deny, 0 change in the assessment. What do we wish to do with this one?
I move it.
Well, second,
Thank you.
Maple Lane, that's sort of the continuation of Shoestrap, right?
No, it's right in the village. I'm a little confused if it's Lampier Lane or
It's
it's,
Maple Lane, it's down by the old.
Yes. It's the old part of, Shoestrap, it's down, it goes from, and then where it ends.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
new name,
The new name, yes, you're right, it's,
right,
kept going through Shoestrap and the discontinued part of the road and down on the River Road side.
right.
I had in mind a different, as did
I didn't know
Ben.
she owned the property down there.
Right.
She owns property in the
Okay,
village.
so, all those in favor to deny, say aye.
Ben, I,
David, on.
Judy, aye. Good catch. Dina and David. Ben and I were led astray. The next property is on Goose Pond Road. No taxpayer value opinion was provided. They're requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. No supporting documentation was provided. The recommendation is to deny. And the owner never responded to a request for an inspection.
she passed away, didn't she?
It's her estate,
Oh, okay.
her daughter's handling it.
Okay, so, what do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
I'll
Okay.
second.
David, Ben, those in favor say aye.
Ben, I,
David, on.
You guys are good, you're following right along. Okay, the next property is Dartmouth College Highway. The assessed value and the taxpayer's opinion of value are the same. The reason for the abatement request is because the owner believes the house is listed improperly. The assessor did a complete inspection, recommends changing the building condition from R3 to good. Much of the house is dated but currently under renovation. As the renovations are completed, we will review and adjust accordingly annually as of April 1, recommending granting an assessment change of $20,000. What do we wish to do with this?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Ben, David, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, I,
David, on.
Judy, aye. Okay, the next property is on Acorn Hill Road. This is kind of weird, but the assessed value is $369,900. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $427,000. Properties are requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. I think this must be typed wrong, but they've submitted an appraisal done for mortgage financing purposes dated September of 2020. The assessment for this property is reduced due to 24 acres enrolled in current use. Okay, I've completed, the assessor has completed an inspection of the property, adjusted the condition factor for the garage from 90 to 75, and added an extra plumbing fixture. These corrections caused the assessment to decrease slightly. The revised assessment from the assessor is $367,800, which is an assessment change of $2,100. What do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben. I'll second it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up, I'm having trouble finding this one.
Yeah,
Okay,
there was something in between.
is it out of order?
Okay.
It's this one.
How do I bring them all up? Let's see the address.
Acorn Hill Road.
Oh, yeah, I have it, I just didn't have
You
the
have
top
it?
sheet,
The
I
top
had,
sheet,
for some
okay.
reason, I just have.
Oh, you know, it came, there were a couple where the top sheet was actually the last sheet.
Yeah, I must have missed
Yeah, sorry, that was my,
That's
it. So what is Todd recommending that we do
An
here?
an assessment change of $2,100, so he's
So-
granting that.
fairly minimal though, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David and Judy, aye. All right. I think the next one is Washburn Hill Road. Do you have that one?
Yeah,
Okay. The assessed value is $474,500. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $375, $375,200. The owners are requesting abatement of the increase in assessment. They indicate the assessment overstates the building square footage. No appraisal has been provided to support their value assertion. Recommendation is to grant an assessment change. Complete inspection of the property was done. During the inspection, it was noted that the exterior siding is vinyl and the heating system is forced hot air. And in some areas, there are no ducts, not ducts, quack. There is some area in the attic which was noticed as finished, but is in fact unfinished. The square footage is correct. Corrections were made, and the assessment will decrease slightly by $2,400.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
David, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, on.
Judy, aye. The next property is located on Acorn Hill Road. The taxpayer has no opinion of value cited. The property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. They have not submitted an appraisal to support their value assertion. Complete inspection of the property has been done. An adjustment made due to an unfinished basement area, and dimensions of outbuildings were updated. The corrections caused the assessment to decrease slightly by $1,300.
I'll move it.
Ben,
I'll second.
David, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, on.
And Judy, aye. The next property is on River Road. Property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in assessment. The owner has cited items being assessed that she doesn't have. A complete inspection of the property was done. The assessor removed the assessment for exterior siding to the concrete blocks, not bricks. And additionally, due to access to the river, the waterfront feet in the land section has been adjusted from 60 to 25 due to steep access. Corrections made caused the assessment to decrease by $22,700.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
David, all those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, on.
Judy, aye. The next property is on North Thetford Road. There is no taxpayer opinion of value. The property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. No additional information has been supplied to support her request. A complete inspection of the property was done. The assessor increased the adjustment to the building in the form of functional obsolescence due to the odd layout of the floor plan. The corrections made caused the assessment to decrease by $13,800.
I'll move it.
And
I'll second.
thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, on.
Judy, aye. The next property is on Shoestrap. The assessed value of this property is $588,200. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $100,000 for the land only. The taxpayers applied for an abatement because they believe their land is overassessed due to the steep topography and the lack of subdivision potential. The taxpayer supplied a spreadsheet with a percentage change of the number of properties, and the assessor says that information was given the weight it deserves. A complete inspection of the property was done. Some corrections to the building sketch were made. Also, the assessor agrees that the view adjustment is overstated and has adjusted the property accordingly. And then there's a note here by the assessor saying, the Supreme Court has consistently been clear over the decades, the assessment to be considered in an abatement case is the property's total value, not merely a portion of the assessment. The value changes are a result of the assessment data changes. And he's recommending granting an assessment change in the amount of $28,900.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye. The next property is on River Road. No taxpayer opinion of value. The property owners are requesting an abatement of the increase in assessment. They've not submitted any relevant information to indicate that the assessment is not market value. The assessor is recommending a grant of an assessment change. Complete inspection of the property was done. Due to steep access to the waterfront, he's recommending adjusting the waterfront feet line in the land section from 80 to 60, resulting in an assessment change of $21,400.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye. The next property is on Dorchester Road. There's no taxpayer opinion of value cited. The property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. Nothing was submitted. No appraisal was submitted to support the value assertion. A complete inspection of the property was done. The building was adjusted for quality grade to average and the condition of the lean-to to poor condition. The corrections caused the assessment to decrease slightly by $15,400.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Ben. All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye. The next property is on Franklin Hill Road. The assessed value is $93,300. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $277,900. The taxpayer has applied for an abatement because he believes the property is assessed disproportionately compared with other properties in Lyme.
Now, is this backwards?
I think, I need to look this one up. This is one of the ones I flagged as being a very, I didn't print all the attached stuff.
Not often, assess value that landowner wants.
No, it's
Big
either
increase of the-
backwards or if there is current use, it could be that there's a difference between the,
Which Franklin Hill one are you talking about? There's two.
yeah.
44 Franklin Hill Road.
Okay.
403. Yeah, I think the assessment is 403,900. I don't know where the 93,300 came from.
Why don't we defer this one and,
Well, here we go. Okay, so this has to do with current use land. So
Right.
the assess, yeah, this says assessed and assessed. So if the full value of the land were given, it would be $403,900. But taking current use into consideration, the actual value that you see is $93,300. So one is an appraisal and one is an assessment. So the 93,300, what they are looking for is, they believe that the value of their property is $277,900 versus $403,900. And they didn't take into consideration the current use either, so
I'll move it.
do you wanna move? He's recommending no assessment
Yeah,
change.
I'll move it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, Ben and David, all those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
Judy, aye. Okay. The next one is on Goose Pond Road, and, no taxpayer value opinion is cited. The taxpayer is asking for an abatement due to the increase of the assessment. No supporting documents were provided. And the property owner never responded to a request for complete inspection. Additionally, no information that would compel an abatement was provided. Recommendation is to deny. What do we wish to do with this one?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
Okay, Judy, aye. All right. The next one is on River Road. The assessed value is $304,900. The taxpayer's opinion of value is $293,200. The property owners are requesting an abatement of the increase in assessment. They've cited several properties that sold. They've not provided an appraisal to support their value assertion. A complete inspection of the property was done. The condition for age for the building has been changed from R3 to R4, which changed the depreciation factor from 15% to 20%. The corrections were made and it caused an assessment decrease by $15,800. What do
no,
we,
I'll move it.
thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
David, all those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
Judy, aye. Okay, next property is on Culver Hill Road. No taxpayer opinion of value was provided. The property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in assessment. She cited the outdated features and loss of functional utility has not been accurately reflected in the assessment. A complete inspection of the property was made. The assessor removed the assessment for a flue, which no longer works as it should. Also, the assessor gave a functional obsolescence adjustment for lack of closets in one bedroom and an odd floor plan. The corrections were made and that caused the assessment to decrease by $53,400. What do we wish to do with this one? This is a grant.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. And this property is located on Wilmot Way. No taxpayer opinion of value was cited. The property owners requested an abatement of the increase in assessment. They've not provided any information relative to the market value. A complete inspection of the property was done. The assessor believes the assessing data is correct. It's recommending deny any assessment change.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
David, all those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. Dorchester Road. No taxpayer opinion of value was cited. Property owner is requesting an abatement of the increase in the assessment. The property owner has provided a spreadsheet of assessment changes. The property owner has not supplied any information to support an abatement. A complete inspection of the property was done. A slight correction to the sketch was completed to add some basement area that had not previously been assessed. The corrections were made and it caused the assessment to increase slightly for 2022.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. Okay,
that's it?
that is it. perhaps wish to sign that. And Dana, I don't think I have anything else. Do you have anything else?
Oh, jeez.
No, I don't.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify, so these decisions have come out. It's still an option for a resident, a taxpayer to come in and chat with the board and say, I think you made a mistake, without having to go to the Superior Court or BTLA? Is
They
that,
can come in.
okay, good. I just wanted that clarification, thank
But
you.
the actual process, if they wish to appeal these decisions.
Right,
is
I mean, if
We,
someone were to come in and say, oh my goodness, this is wrong, and you all said, oh yes, you could
I
change
can't
this?
guarantee that, but they are always welcome to come in and talk to us. If they wish to appeal, they need to follow, if the next appeal, as we said before, is either to court
Yes, of course.
or to the BTLA, Tax and Land Appeals Board. So,
So, look, just so
I
I,
would suggest if someone has a question, they call Dina and ask Dina.
okay,
If you
and
wanna come in and talk to us, we're always happy to talk.
yes, thank you for that offer. Has it ever happened that people get a change after they come in and
I
talk?
could not tell you that.
Okay, thank you,
You're welcome.
I'm always happy to be proven wrong.
okay.
It is 10:30. We had hoped to hear a little bit from Sean. Perhaps we will hear from him at our next meeting, which is in 2 weeks. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
Then on.
David, on.
Judy, aye. Dina, thank you so much for joining us.
Hope you feel better.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll see you.
We'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah,